The HOA ran a $9 million pipeline through my ranch. They forgot to check who owned the land. Marcus Hayes had spent 20 years building one of the most respected cattle ranches in Texas. Every fence, every pasture, every water line existed because of his own two hands. He trusted that record, the county paperwork, and his family's history enough that he never worried about anyone taking it from him. That confidence lasted right up until one phone call. One of his ranch hands called in a panic. Heavy machinery had rolled into the north pasture without permission. Marcus drove over expecting some kind of mix-up. Instead, he found excavators, bulldozers, pipeline trucks, and a small army of workers already staking out a route. A massive trench was cutting straight through the middle of his ranch, like the land belonged to somebody else entirely. He asked the construction supervisor what the hell was going on. The guy just pointed at a set of blueprints and said the project was already approved. Before Marcus could push back, HOA President Karen Whitmore showed up with a handful of smiling board members trailing behind her. She announced proudly that the HOA had authorized a $9 million pipeline running straight across his ranch to improve utility access for their growing neighborhood. Marcus unfolded his certified property survey right on the hood of his truck. Every boundary line showed the same thing. That trench sat hundreds of feet inside his private land. The HOA's authorities stopped at their own neighborhood fence. Full stop. Karen wasn't hearing any of it. Her attorneys had already handled everything, she said, and told the crew to keep working. He didn't argue. He started documenting. Every excavator, every worker, every damaged fence post, every foot of freshly dug trench. Cattle scattered from the noise while the clock kept ticking on more damage. Marcus knew yelling wouldn't fix this. Evidence would. That afternoon, he sat down with his longtime property attorney. They went through every deed, survey, and county filing tied to the ranch, and it didn't take long to find a detail that changed everything. There was no recorded easement, no signed agreement, nothing on paper giving anyone the legal right to run a pipeline across his land. The next morning, they pulled certified copies of every land record from the county office, and it confirmed exactly what Marcus already knew. His ranch was fully private, and no pipeline rights had ever been granted to anyone. To close the loop completely, they brought in a licensed surveyor with GPS equipment. His measurements proved the entire trench sat inside Marcus's property. No gray area at all. Meanwhile, the crew kept working. Welders fused steel pipe sections together, while excavators dug even deeper. Karen was practically celebrating with the board, convinced a $9 million project would steamroll one rancher without a fight. She didn't know Marcus's attorney had already made 2 quiet phone calls, one to the county, one to the sheriff's department. After reviewing the certified deeds, survey reports, and photos, deputies agreed there were serious legal questions worth acting on. The next afternoon, sheriff's vehicles rolled onto the ranch right as construction hit full speed. Deputies ordered every machine shut down on the spot. Engines cut out one by one across the site, and confusion spread through the whole crew. Marcus's attorney handed the deputies the certified records and surveys directly. Every page pointed to the same conclusion. This construction company had entered private property with no lawful authorization at all. Under questioning, the site supervisor admitted they relied entirely on the HOA's word and never once checked county ownership records themselves. That admission turned the whole site into an active trespassing investigation. The supervisors who directed the unauthorized work were detained while it played out. Karen started making frantic calls to lawyers and board members, hoping somebody, somewhere, had a valid easement tucked away. Nobody did. Every call ended the same way. There was no legal right to build across that ranch, and there never had been. County inspectors documented every damaged fence, every torn-up section of pasture, every foot of that unfinished trench, and each report made Marcus's case even stronger. When it landed in court, his attorney laid out the certified deeds, GPS surveys, and inspection reports one by one. The judge reviewed everything, then asked the HOA's legal team a simple question. Produce a signed easement authorizing this project. Nobody could. The courtroom went completely silent. The court ordered construction stopped permanently and forced the pipeline company to rip out every section already buried on Marcus's land. Restoration crews spent weeks filling trenches, rebuilding fences, and returning the pasture to exactly how it looked before any of this started, all under county supervision. Standing on a hill overlooking the restored ranch, Marcus realized this was never about money or getting even. It was about proving that no organization, no matter how much money or confidence it had behind it, gets to ignore the law. Karen believed expensive lawyers and a big budget would beat out plain ownership. They didn't. Sometimes the strongest thing protecting a piece of land isn't a fence or a lock gate. It's knowing exactly what the law says and refusing to back down from it.